Oh,
Come on, do it.
Paul fucking loves that when I do that. That actually bloody hurt.
Hey, Craig, suggestion: find some boxing headgear and put that on if you're gonna do that. Yeah.
Can I just use the wife instead?
No,
Oh,
no.
you take all the fun out of
Strike
it. I
that.
kind of
Strike that
enjoy
from the
him
record,
slapping
by the
himself
way.
out.
Strike that from the recording, ladies and gentlemen. We don't endorse domestic violence here.
All right, let's get our next guy in here. He's been gone for a while. He's little. He's grumpy, and of course, we're talking about Baby Groot's in the house, guys.
Nothing little in here. This is Bear Paw speaking. 6 foot tall, 300 pounds. So let it be known, Brooklyn built.
David, we all know you.
So the 300 pounds who's scared to talk about Sailor Moon. That's right. Am I
I'm
getting
6
this
foot
right?
tall, 300 pounds, and I carried it well, unlike some people.
David, we all know you love this picture.
I'm just saying, you're a
Mr.
300-pound guy.
Mr. Bennett, no, Mr.
who's
Bennett have
scared to
seen me.
talk about Sailor Moon.
Mr. Bennett have seen me. I'm not a small dude.
I seen you too.
No,
it is what it is.
I seen you too. I'm just saying the
I'm a
fact.
tall
You're
dude, 6
scared to
foot.
talk about Sailor Moon.
No, I'm not scared about Sailor Moon. I'm just kind of biased in a way. Not scared.
You're
Hey,
scared.
David,
But I have my reason. I have my reason to be biased by Sailor Moon.
David.
Yeah, whatever.
Pete, don't
All
worry.
right,
I got
I
rid
miss
of
you
that
guys.
picture,
But let's
alright?
get it. Let's. All right. Before we get into it, obviously we have some. I have to break some bad news to everybody. So a lot of you guys might be Call of Duty fans. Some of you guys are not. Unfortunately, over during Christmas, the original creator of Call of Duty ended up having a fatal car accident and ended up dying. Just want to put praise and thought to his family. Any kind of death is tragic. But what really annoys me about this story more than anything, people are making comments die because he was going fast. So that, you know what? You're a scumbag for saying that. Seriously, nobody should be saying anybody should die because that is a tragic thing to happen. Except that talk about the show. Me and Greg were kind of like spitballing about this a little bit in the background. There are a lot of roles out there that two different actors played. Same role, different actors. Great example is Avengers, War Machine. Two different actors, the different roles. At first, I didn't really like the actor. I remember his name kind of grew on me. Wow, that's actually not bad. I still think the first. I'm sorry. Thank you, John Cena.
Don
He
Cheadle.
was first. This is what I said, Don Chino.
Now, at first you said you didn't know his name, but then
yeah, then I repeated after you said it.
Right. Yeah.
Is it a delay?
You good?
Okay.
You sound
So there are other movies like that. All right. The other movies like RoboCop, for example. Two different actors. Yes, two different movies, but same role again. And people, you can say whatever you want to say for RoboCop. I actually like both takes to them. I think they were really good. But I do see how two different actors played it completely different. And this is a conversation we're going to have tonight. And I know David's very warming up, but I see him getting smoke coming down his ears because I know how he is with American actors. He doesn't like them too much. So I got to pick on you, bro. It's been a while, man. You've been MIA on me.
The new RoboCop movie.
What's up, Greg?
The new RoboCop movie. Yeah, there's a lot of difference.
What about it?
But it's still the same storyline. It really is. Yeah. Even though he does die in the first one, they reanimate him slightly.
The only thing I think they went too far with it, personally, is when they broke him down. The only thing he had left was his lungs, heart, brain in one hand. In the original RoboCop, he was pretty much, except his hands and some other organs, he pretty much had most of the, his legs and everything that was so functionable. So it was.
No, he didn't.
It was
no.
He wasn't as magical as they showed it.
David, sorry,
no.
No, he didn't.
No, he was down to again essentially
Face
what was in the
and his organs.
the new movie.
they had like tissue inside him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. They removed both his arms. Well, literally both
Been
his
wrong
arms,
before.
both his legs, his body, and literally he just had literally the skin from his face,
Facts.
and maybe the skull from his face to keep it shape. That was it.
Yep.
All right.
I don't know if
So,
I'm wrong, David.
No,
who's
no,
the first
you're
one?
absolutely right. No, 100%. No, 100% correct on that. Yeah, the
And
original
is there a
RoboCop,
lot?
there was less of him in the original RoboCop than the new one.
Okay.
I would say this. Let me just say that
Again,
about
both
the
I
RoboCop.
think they were great movies. Frank. Go ahead.
But I do have a problem with it. Let me tell you first. Let me tell you why I say that. The first RoboCop, right? How many movies were they produced by the first actor who did RoboCop?
2.
How many RoboCop movies? Were 2
There
or
were
I
3?
think it was
4. I
three
think it might have been
movies.
3 or 4.
Include
4 movies, right?
No, there's actually more than
There were
that.
4 RoboCop movies produced by one same actor, right? Now here's why I have an issue when people do a reboot. They did a reboot of RoboCop with a new actor. I paid close attention to the first movie compared with the first movie of the old one. There was a slight similarity, but there was a lot of add-on to the role. We're like, okay, fine. Let's see how this story played out. Now, this is where, like I say, I'm very critical. They dropped the ball. If you're gonna do the reboot of RoboCop, do the complete reboot. Don't do one movie and forget about part 2, part 3, part 4, unless the box office didn't do too well with through the reboot. But now everybody's wondering, I'm sure, how many years ago did that RoboCop movie came out?
I'm sorry,
That
David.
was
I'm
1987.
sorry. I'm
I mean,
sorry,
I'm
David.
talking about the reboot. How long ago was that?
2014.
12.
2014. We're in
Was it 2014 or
2025.
2012? They didn't really do a reboot. Yes, they did it. They were trying to modernize it, and they actually did a pretty good job. And they changed
Yes,
it a little.
I get it.
They changed the story just slightly. Yeah,
Yes, and I
but
get that. But
the
here's the
basis
problem.
of it, David, the basis of it is exactly the same. He still goes and solves his own crime. His murderers.
Yes, I get
The
that.
storyline's still the same, but there's a few differences.
I know that. But here's the argument. When you did a reboot and you want to modernize it because the technology of the yesteryear is not the same as today, right? This movie reboot came out in 2000, no, 2014. So you did a reboot of chapter 1. No other part 2 or part 3 in hindsight because this is 2025. And I'm sure any diehard fan will be asking the same exact question. Like, okay, you did a reboot. Okay, fine. I like the technology. I like the look. I like the change, a little slight change here and there, but it kind of pretty good. So when we gonna get the next movie? Crickets.
David, my only pushback on that would be is that the subsequent RoboCop movies that you're talking about were awful. So they were better off. I mean, RoboCop 2 was okay. It wasn't as good as the first one, and 3
Okay.
wasn't as good as
I disagree,
2,
Paul.
and 4 wasn't as good as 3.
And
I disagree, Paul.
Okay.
I do disagree. The first 3 movies of the original RoboCop were brilliant. I never the reboot and the remakes of them. Sorry, not remakes, but the carry-ons from it. That's when it got weird and stupid. I do agree. The first 3 were brilliant, and I do hold my hands up, and I hold that hand to heart. Right, the first 3 were brilliant. Right, after that it just started getting stupid. The TV series, the cartoons, were rubbish.
and I totally get that. But here my empathy went by. When we go to a modernized version, I would think the modernized version would put to correct what was done in the past. So when you did the first movie, which, like I said, critically speaking, I said it again. The first movie looked like it was done a little bit better than the original first movie.
A lot more
That
thought.
that I would give credit to, but I was expecting. I know you can do a movie every year. Okay, 2 or 3 or 4 years down the line, make sure it's not too long. Remember we talked about it before. Sequel. When you wait too long to do a sequel, you screwed up. This reboot was done 2014. We're in 2025. to up into part 2 or part 3, if you want to modernize, at least do the second movie that will do better than the last one that came out decade ago.
The David, the thing I didn't like about the two movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the second one, right,
Mm-hmm.
was in the first one they actually wiped his memory in the original one, but in the newer one of RoboCop, the remake,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't wipe his memory. Yeah, that was part of the storyline. He had to rebuild his memory, and he was slowly getting it back. You can see it in the first one. The remake, they didn't do that. They sort of did, but they didn't because he couldn't remember who killed him, so he had to work out his own crime.
And I get that. And I
Yeah,
totally get that. So it's like almost like you're trying to say this reboot was meant to squash the whole 4 movie and this could be
So,
just like
David, I actually looked it up. It's only 3 RoboCop movies, not 4.
3 RoboCop movies.
No, it's fine. It's like tomato. I'm not gonna really,
But I
talk
get
about
it, but you get my point, my angle I'm coming with.
I totally agree with you. I'm not pushing back one bit. The way Peter something, I can't remember his fucking name. Hang on, I'll tell you right now. Peter
What, the actor? Weller.
yes,
But he was only in the first 2 movies. RoboCop 3 was a different guy.
correct. The
Okay.
first 2 movies, I think he was brilliant. I actually met him in person at a con, and he's as good as you've seen acting in real life. But I think he made RoboCop. He's the reason why RoboCop was what it is.
And I agree. And that's why I said when they did this reboot, right? This reboot look a little more modern, a little bit more sleeker, and a little more flair to the character, which I had to agree with that. So the first movie was like, okay, I was like, okay, this is better than the original one. Okay, are you going to get a part 2 to this movie? Click it. 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. We're in 2025 and there's no second movie. This is why I say I have an issue with American production. When you do the reboot of something and you don't have no long term plan how to continue this franchise, right? You did a reboot. Okay, fine. I'm sure everybody was hoping maybe we'll do another reboot, part 2, make it better than the old one. No word, nothing. So this is why I have an issue. Yeah, the new actor who did the Robocop, did a pretty good job. You should have kept going with the franchise. The director and the people who behind the project dropped the ball. That's why I tell you, when you're gonna do a reboot, do it completely. Don't just pick and choose. Okay, we're gonna do the reboot, and you gotta. If you want to call all the diehard fans about the movie and acting what they were thinking, I'm sure they would say the same thing I'm saying. If you saw the first movie, kind of liked it, it seemed like it being better, so we were expecting to see more. But not seeing more, it's like saying, why did the reboot in the first place? If you're not gonna carry the torch. You know what I'm coming from? But remember, you had this argument about the Knight Rider thing. I'm
I
very
agree,
quick.
but again, totally different.
David.
I get it.
You're talking to a master of flaming Knight Rider, right?
I know.
And I would whoop your ass on that again.
Not really. Not really. Not really. I'm very technical when it comes to things like that. This is why I say
But David, to be fair, again, that RoboCop 2014, the budget was 100 to 130 million dollars. It only made 58 million dollars in the U.S.,
So that
184 million dollars internationally. So again, it was a bust. I liked it, but again, you cannot convince a studio to make a remake. Now, the original RoboCop was like a blockbuster. Like nobody was expecting it. It was like the surprise movie of the year. That movie, of which obviously in 1987 money, much smaller budget, but it was huge at the time. So that justifies a sequel.
and now you just confirm what I was saying earlier. I said either the movie was a bust, it would have made the money what we're making.
You know what I liked about the first one? The very first one. It was in your face. They chucked it right in your face. Do you know what I mean? Yeah? There weren't any cheap shots. It was all literally all done natural. They weren't really, apart from Ed 209, there weren't really any special effects about it. Was there? There wasn't any AI about it. It was literally just RoboCop.
But
made me all
also,
the way
Greg, you
through.
got cut a little slack to these actors who make the newer ones back then. That was a different era when
I know,
AI,
I'm just saying.
CGI, and all this stuff
I
wasn't a
know.
thing back then.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying.
And I
But
and
that,
I and I get that, but here's the thing: according to Mr. Bennett, it didn't do too well in the domestic box office.
what
It
I'm
didn't do
saying,
too well. It didn't
David.
do too well
Sorry,
in the
Pete.
global box office. So what you were
Pete,
pointing
what
out,
I'm saying is it wasn't in your face. The original one was actually in your face.
Greg,
You
do me
get
a
what I'm saying?
favor. Let David finish his statement, then he can go in. Okay.
Sorry.
here what I was trying to point out when I say earlier when I start my soliloquy, I say this movie was good, but my issue was it good enough to be a have a sequel? Because what Mr. Bennett just mentioned, it didn't did too well in the domestic box office, nor did it do too well in the global box office. So, in that terminology, based on numbers, it was a bust. But to me and Mr. Bennett, it was a very good movie. The question is, what made it a bust? What was it lacking? What was missing in that?
The it
That's the
factor.
Well, yeah, I mean, not only if you're gonna do a, like I said, a remake again, if someone, especially if you knock it out the park the first time, you got to ask yourself the question: did I need it? And if you didn't need it, like some roles don't need to be done again. I mean, if the first one was so good, so I think that's one. And secondly, I think one of the things about the original RoboCop, well, I would say RoboCop 1 and 2, was the satire in the movie. Like the world that they were in was not it was dystopian for the most part, right? They lost the ozone layer. There was no ozone. So again, the commercials, right? If you look at all the commercials in the first two RoboCop movies, it was over stuff that was like, like the 6000 XUX car got like 8 miles to the gallon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like, what kind of world? This is supposed to be like the near future. The world is jacked up. They had a game, Nukem, where it was like the purpose of the game was like nuclear war against your opponent. And they're cheering when someone gets nuked. I mean, society is just like on the brink in that movie. You know what I mean? In Detroit, the city of Detroit, for example, they were going to build literally. I've seen building projects or neighborhoods get rebuilt. They were going to rebuild all of Detroit. It was that bad. So again, I think there was a lot of social commentary in the original RoboCop that that really challenged a lot of social norms of the time. It was almost like uncomfortable, or it was almost like saying, "Is this where we're going?" You lose the ozone layer. No one cares anything about the environment. No one cares anything about, barely anything about crime, because basically the whole city of Detroit was essentially a crime haven. So it's like the world was a very kind of the future that was portrayed in the movie was a very scary one.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the 2014 RoboCop, it was done certainly in a modern world. And yeah, there might be crime and whatnot, but it wasn't anything about that world that was different from the world that people were living in at that time. The picture of the world that RoboCop 1 and 2 built, or certainly that original franchise did, it was very dystopian. And again, there was a lot of satire in everything that was there. You got a car alarm system that locks you in the car. If you try to steal a car, locks you in and electrocutes you in your car. And that's being sold as a security system. Like, yeah, this is a good idea. Someone tries to steal my car, you get electrocuted.
We have tasers now, but back then they were
this
tasers
is
on
like,
steroids.
Dude got out the
But
car,
before we
was
move on,
fried. Like smoke was coming off the guy. I mean, and that's
Before-
like,
That guy was
I'm actually posting. Hang on, Greg. I'm posting the link for the show. If you'd like to join us, please do. Our rules are very simple. Let me get the rules up really fast. Let's go for the first one. It's easily, guys. No personal attacks, no threats, no foul language. I'm gonna work on that part. I mean, no racist and all sexual, any of that stuff, because I will boot your ass. If you'd like to join the stream, it's very simple. It's very similar rules. It's no smoking on camera, no eating on camera. Yes, Paul, you can have a drink on camera. It's fine. Dress appropriately, and Mike and camera must be on. Very simple
So
rules,
no
guys. I
nudity.
don't ask
So
much.
if a woman wants to flash on the show, that's not allowed. You don't like that?
So am I
Wow, I'm not
breaking
surprised
any
it comes
rules
from
now?
you, bro.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You like dress appropriately. I'm just saying. If a woman just wanted to go woo, like
Yeah, no.
you,
I'm actually very surprised you were saying that. You're usually the PG one. I'm usually coming with ideas like that. Why was going on, Amanda? The link's in the stream. But I want to bring one idea for you guys as we're going over this. All right. Superheroes have been played for multiple movies with different actors. The great example is two. I'm going to use the first one. Batman, for example. Yes, David, I'm going there. And we had a show a while back with this, but I want to kind of revisit this a little bit here. And I've got another DC character after this. But Batman was, I think, was it 5 actors so far? Am I mistaken? I'm gonna go back and check. But they're different at 6. I'm gonna check it right now. But I still think, and I know Eric is gonna start yelling at me in the chats, but I still think Batman Dark Knight was the best Batman actor we
there
had.
were 9. Technically, there were 9.
9? You looked it up?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to look it up. So that's a good point right there. 9 different actors, same role, different actors. Paul, you want to go first because you already started this.
Well, I think it's not just the actor that's involved. It's the direction, it's the production, it's the vision of the world that you're creating. Like for me, Batman 89 is still my favorite Batman, even though Michael Keaton isn't my favorite Batman actor. Because again, that world, that sort of gritty kind of world that was created in 89, that broke the mold. And also that was the template for all major superhero movies that came after it. I mean, you can go through time and there's certain films that without those films, other things wouldn't happen, right? So you got Superman 78. That was the first like really blockbuster type of thing. Then you had Batman 89, and then you had Blade in the mid 90s, and then you had the birth of Marvel and Spider-Man and things like that. So certainly it's almost unfair to talk about how well the actor did if it doesn't jive with the environment that he's in. Now, Adam West probably gets the most heat, right, for his portrayal of Batman. But again, the direction of the show, it was definitely more kid focused. It was supposed to be campy, bat shark repellent, just the whole campiness, the 60s and the pips and pals and the over the top nature of it. For what they wanted, he is the perfect actor for it. I can't think of anybody else who would do that role in that time. So I think you got to have to kind of compartmentalize a bit when it comes to the Batman franchise. Obviously, the Schumacher Batman series is certainly different from the from the 89 and the 90 came after it, and obviously the Christian Bale is also again very different from that. So again, it depends on the world that you're creating. So to judge an actor in a Batman series on their own, like I said, I just think it's unfair. The question is, did that actor fulfill, and how did they work in the world that was created for that Batman in which to operate? So I'll give a little
thing I want
nuance
to mention, because most people don't know this, and I want to kind of throw a little gemstone in there. In 1943, it was actually the first Batman movie ever made. It was a black and white movie, not 1985. Is it on 84, Paul?
What's that?
The Batman we saw on screen.
89.
89, thank you. That was literally later. They had actually one more movie after the 1943. Is 1966 was the next one after that.
Yeah, that's the Adam West.
Correct. That was the next one. Then we got the Batman Returns, Batman Forever series, that timeline. And that's the thing is, and you guys can jump in on whatever. Different actors, different eras, it's still same role.
The Batman movie. Which one was it that the guy who played Beetlejuice?
That was the first.
Keaton, Michael Keaton. That was Batman 89.
Yeah,
like I said, that's my favorite.
Give his name.
Yeah, that's my favorite Batman. Although Michael Keaton isn't necessarily my favorite Batman actor. I think Christian Bale, knocks it out the park. I'm just saying, but the time, like I said, the time it was, the Jack Nicholson as Joker, the Prince soundtrack. I mean, it hit everything.
It killed it.
And again, that summer, I mean, it dominated the summer. It made almost like $240 million domestically in that first run in '89, which was huge at the time, especially because, again, nobody really looked at superhero movies like that. You had the Superman franchise, you had Superman 1 and 2, 78 and 80. Superman 3 was 3 and 4 were not well panned. And everybody was like, okay, is this going to be another try to make it a superhero movie? But it so overperformed, despite the fact that, again, Michael Keaton, I didn't think was the best, well, I would say this. In fact, let me nuance it a little bit more. I didn't like his Bruce Wayne. Him in the Batman suit was pretty, was pretty good. The Bruce Wayne aspect of it, I couldn't get because I couldn't get Mr. Mom out of my head. So
I can see that. David, go ahead.
Thank you. Whew, finally. First and foremost, I gotta give a shout out to Michael Keaton. That's the Batman I grew up in. He got me into the Batman movie. When he did 1 and 2, I thought he was pretty good until Christian Bale came in. And when he did the Dark Knight, the first 2 movies got me thinking, this is the actual comic book Batman we were looking for. Because he had that dark grittiness of himself. Michael Keaton had it too. But slowly but steady, when he got into the second movie, I thought they trying to push into the comedic side of things. Because after Michael Keaton, all the other Batman were comical. Let's keep it real. They didn't portray Batman in a dark, gritty look because I'm not trying to compare live action to the animated series, but Christian Bale kind of personified how Batman was supposed to be. So I would suggest I only got 2 actors I will pull on: Michael Keaton, who I consider my original because that's how I grew up with him, and Christian Bale, who did an excellent job and personified what we were all looking for in the comic books. How Batman was supposed to be, that gritty, that darkness, that the kind of one that gives the criminal fear. And when he did the one with Heath Ledger, now that was the Batman movie of the century because Heath Ledger was the best Joker you could ever find. He There's a term we call in the nerd way that he assimilated that character to the point whereby we thought he was the real Joker himself.
oh yeah, I think that honestly took him out. I think that took him out. I mean,
No,
really.
you think he did take him out? Reports have said he became the Joker so much. On set, he was walking around like a Joker, and he used to go talking just like the Joker. Like he used to go up to people, like, "What's so serious?" And he was literally that's why he was on pain meds afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean,
like I don't think he ever broke character, right? I have those actors like off the set, he never cut, and then he became he was in that.
When he was not shooting, between sets, and he was walking around getting coffee or whatever they do. Excuse me. He was still in character the whole time, and that's what drove him crazy. Think about it. If you were, let's say, playing a role, for example, a woman, argument sex, okay? You're dressing as a Miss Nanny. I'm just gonna throw something out there, right?
Mhm.
And even between suits, you're still you're doing your makeup, you're doing all that stuff. That starts fucking your mind slowly over and over and over. And when you actually become human again, or become Paul again, you can't, because that is DNA in your hand. And I'll go shoot one out there right now, really fast. Is yes, Heath Ledger made the movie. Christian Bale also made a movie. I think those two combination made a married couple so good. I think they're the best Batman movie ever made. We will never make it again. You don't agree, David?
What? That movie had everybody talking for months on end. They're like, there was no way this guy was not the personification of the Joker. And Batman, it was more like they were so much in sync with their character. Heath Ledger Joker, like, you need me. You cannot get rid of me. It's like I was like, yo, Kristen Bell and Heath Ledger combination and their acting ability made the movie so impactful that even people were like scared, like, yo, that is the best Joker ever. And Batman made sure he kept up with it. That's how crazy it is because the part with the ship, you pick and choose who. Everybody was asking that same question. If you was in that situation, what would you would have done?
Here's a good example where you're saying to that. The Joker, the actor was Jack Nicholson. Great actor. Not denying that. I don't think he was the first pick for Joker for that movie, but when it came to Keith Ledger, he blew that out of the water. I have him. But let's welcome Wally on the set. Wally, what's going on, my man?
Okay, with all that being done, what's going on, everybody? Happy holiday.
What's good, Sam?
Hello, Wally.
Same to you, my man.
So yeah, as far as a whole, I think is the best acting Batman. Yeah, it's pretty much what I put it in the chat. But overall, for like my main pick, I would say it had to be Christian Bale. Because again, the actor, like if we're talking about actors, you also got to also put into the case when we talk about who played the role better. You also got to think about who helped him play the role better. And I think when you add in those key components, Christian Bale, because all the many key components that added to Christian Bale's Batman was definitely like made him better. Because again, Heath Ledger with that Joker was just phenomenal.
What?
Now, granted, am I sitting here saying like he was the perfect package of Bruce Wayne, Batman, all that in one whole thing? No, but he definitely was overall the best candidate.
Okay.
It's hard to debate it because that was something that we just everything that movie, everybody was talking about him compared to all the past Batman. Even though you talk about Jack Nicholson when he was the Joker, that was a debate that was going on for decades. They were
It still
comparing
goes
Jack
on to this
Nicholson.
day, bro. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying it was a heavy comparison because Jack Nicholson Joker was good, but
Really
His Ledger was like he assimilated the character so much to the point you don't know who's who anymore. Is he either Heath Ledger or he's the Joker? Because that thing was so. And I hate to say it, the animated series had to copy that version of the Joker.
And dude, I'm not mistaken. I think Joker was the only role that two different actors played a villain.
If you're saying as far as amongst Batman, I think you're right.
Yeah. I'm not sure about other platforms, but for Batman, I know that for a fact. But
Because if you're split lining from just Joker by itself, then that's different. But yeah. But
so
just go ahead.
Go ahead. Go. What? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say just to add this because you also got to think about it too, right? Just like going back, what I'm saying, like in the whole totality of Bruce Wayne and / Batman, you also got to look at it from a standpoint of like look at everything that he has to work with as well, because again, that goes into building the idea of the best Batman. Because again, Christian Bale's Batman was able to deal with Ra's al Ghul, which we still haven't got that with others. I mean, you got Ben Affleck, the most body-filled version of Batman, and yet that's not with Ra's al Ghul. And I'm like, ugh, that's why I'm like, I had to go back to Christian Bale because like he had the more of the package deal.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's unfair, I think, sometimes to compare the actor. Because again, the setup, it's like golf, right? The most important shot is the tee shot.
Yeah,
and I think that Batman Begins had clearly the best intro because it gave you that. It gave you his background. It went to the League of Shadows and all. It built such a world and environment for Christian Bale to excel in. Now, if you try to put Christian Bale in the '89 Batman or the Batman that just came out, I don't know if he does as well. So again, the world that you build around the actor to work with, that's why I think even Adam West, who's the campiest Batman ever, it still worked because that was the Batman that they wanted to produce. And I think he was the best actor for it.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, because the thing is with that version of Batman is like, again, they could only work with so much stuff as well as far as equipment and everything else. So of course it was going to be a certain way at a certain time. Like it is what it is, right? It's just to the prerequisite of how far you get. Like he's the starter, but he will never be like most of the starters will never be the best in most cases. However you look at it, right? It's the same way. Like if you told me today, like for just to pivot a little bit, like if someone were to ask you who's the best Power Ranger actor, right? Most people will tell you straight up, the starter and the OG Tommy Oliver. Most people tell you that all across the board. They will literally tell you he's the best one throughout any other version, even though he plays like multiple different color characters. But he's probably the best one that's been through the whole history of it. That's just what it is. But
you're not wrong on that one. Most people will say
JDF. No, he really is.
Yeah, and very few people will say, "Oh, it was Jason." You know, Austin, something like that, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And it's very few people. But I want to switch gears for 1 second. I want to throw a little monkey wrench in this conversation for you guys.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'll just throw one more thing, but yeah.
No, go ahead, White. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I need to know that.
The one prerequisite I'll go throw in as far as just to end the Batman part was because as much as like I'll say this, like I know this one is usually the worst Batman for a lot of people with George Clooney version, but the thing is with that Batman, I was able to get the Robin and I was able to get the freaking Batgirl. Like there definitely is different requisites and different presets for everything, and plus of course the villains. But then it's like at the same time when you talk about core factor, because the only thing that version of Batman was really missing was really the Joker. I mean, I can live with having Iceman because at least the level threat was still decent from that part.
Quick question: How many Catwomen were there? Catwoman. How many was there?
Association with Batman, just 2. I mean, yeah, no, 3.
No, 3.
3.
Oh yeah, you're right. 3.
Because if you think about the latest Batman, you're
right.
Yeah, that's why I forgot about that. But I'm gonna push back a little bit on that when you said. So I don't think George Clooney was the worst Batman. Personally, I think Robert Pattinson. Thank you. I didn't like him at all as Batman. I don't think he felt the role. He didn't fit the character. He felt awkward doing it personally.
Well, his version of Batman is like the starter pack version.
The OG, the original story.
Yeah, like like him getting into being Batman. Like he don't have like the big body build version. Like that's how I take him. That's how I take his version. Like he's the starter pack version.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, I'm not disagreeing because if you read the original comic book back in 1930s, I think is it?
Yeah,
that's how it was. He always wore sunglasses during the day. He actually technology was different back then, but that's how it was. But let's throw a little monkey wrench here because I know David's looking for this one. Superman. Superman is a very difficult conversation for a lot of people, but most people think 1979, the first Superman movie,
78.
78. Thank you. It's not the first movie actually. It's 1943. Yeah. It was a 15-part, not actual movie, big screen. It was a 15-part live action movie on TV. Who the character was Kurt Ale.
Reeves.
Yes,
George Reeves.
Yeah. So that's where the first original Superman movie, if you want to call it that. But Superman's a weird one to me because they've been trying to get Greg. Stop doing that. You make me sick, you asshole. So Superman's a weird one because I know there are at least 4 actors like off my head out looking it up that try to play the. I'm gonna punch you in the fucking dick, dude. You too, David. I know where you live.
They're flipping reverse camera. Ooh, what this button do? Ooh, what this do? Ooh, what this?
You guys are like fucking kids. Do I need to put you guys in timeout too? So the Superman one is weird because after Chris, what's his fucking name?
Chris
Rivers.
Reeve.
Reeves, thank you. Not a lot of actors who play Superman. When they finally did Superman Return, movie was good, decent. Actor did not fit the role very well. The Superman and Batman one, the actor, I thought it was a pretty good actor, I'll be honest with you, for that role. The new one, I actually enjoyed it, to be honest with you guys. Not the best Superman movie I ever saw, but it's enjoyable. So, who wants to go where I left off?
Now, before we go any further, are we only basing on the actors that act in the movies
Yes.
only, and exclude the TV series?
I'm not counting the series. That's a whole different can of worms we're not going into today.
Okay.
That's
Christopher
another
Reeve.
2-hour conversation.
Christopher
Because
Reeve.
if you want to open that can of worms, then we have to talk about Doctor Who, who has like 20 different actors who play that character. And that's why we're not going there. We're going only big screen actors. That's why in 1948, it doesn't count because he was never in a big screen. I just want to honor and mention that because he did
No
a great
problem.
movie.
Christopher Reeve with my Superman that I grew up with that set the standard at the time. But the Snyder version, which was more gritty, I think to me that's the best Superman I've seen so far.
I gotta agree with David. Again, and I think Christopher Reeve was like that mode. But again, the world that you're in, because after Superman 2, it nosedived. Superman 3 and 4 were awful. And unfortunately for Christopher Reeve, he was so iconic with the role, he got typecast. He really didn't do anything else afterwards. So it almost killed his career, him doing Superman. And interestingly enough, he didn't necessarily want to do it, but, it was an opportunity. He took it, and the rest is history. But he is forever die-cast as Superman in terms of the act. But as far as just acting, I would agree that Henry Cavill blew it out of the park. I didn't necessarily like the some of the framework around it, but the Man of Steel, it's right up there. I mean, I got to give it credit. But again, Christopher Nolan, the worlds that he creates, I think matters in terms of how we perceive these actors. But in terms of our imagination, Christopher Reeve captured your imagination. I was 9 when it came out, and you were just like, wow. I mean, and again, at the time, nobody had even thought of a project like that. I mean, by today's standards, the special effects aren't the greatest and whatnot. I mean, especially when you look at the last Superman movie yet. I mean, special effects wise, it's no comparison. But when they said in the trailer, we will make you believe that a man can fly. That was the catch line in the trailer. They made you believe that. Superman, the movie, was magical, whereas later incarnations of it were like technical. They were again, grittier, and you can go a little deeper in, but inspiration wise, in terms of what you think embodies the very nature of who Superman is, it's Christopher Reeve. And you could just kind of break the mold on that. If he could have been given a Nolan environment, even better. But unfortunately, the 3 and 4, that was a money grab. And again, the plots were awful, and it was just a very campy. It hurt his career, to be honest with you. He should have stopped at Superman 2, and that would have been it.
The only thing he did after Superman, there are some voice acting movies he did and cartoons, stuff like that, because he couldn't act after he got hurt. But let me ask you guys a question. What do you guys think about I'm gonna butcher the name from the ECDU, the Harley Cavill and David Cornswin, the last two Supermans.
Henry Cavill and David Cornswin.
Yeah, what do you guys think about them?
Don't know them.
Okay. For me, I mean, to answer the full question in proxy, I think Christopher Reeve had the embodiment of Superman. That's common sense. I think Henry Cavill was more so of the physicality of Superman. And then as far as David Cornswin, he's more of the general arc. He fits the archetype of Superman, more of human, less than alien Superman, aka whatever Superman's human name is.
Hey, could
But
you
yeah.
pull up a picture of those last two?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
I got it right here. Actually.
But yeah, that's how I look at it. I just the way, because for me, the way how they were leading Henry Cavill Superman, for me, the reason why, and I still debate this because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, he was the best Superman." I'm like, I'm sorry, no. There is no part of me that can sit here and say that he was the best Superman. Not because he didn't play the role good or he didn't have the body physique or anything. The reason why I say for me, he can't be the best Superman because he just doesn't fit the full-on image.
Is that the same actor who was in Wonder Woman, Batman, and that? Justice League.
Yeah.
Was that the
Yeah.
same guy?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the same guy in Henry Cavill.
Yeah, but he is the best Superman because he did a lot of He did a lot of acting on it.
He did.
And he actually looked after himself to actually play the role of Superman. He kept himself so fit about it.
I get it. If you had to look at the list, yeah, you got to name him the best one. But the reason why I say he just not the best one for me is because, again, based upon the archetype of how they sold Superman, he is just not that archetype.
Mm-hmm.
He's more of the more like, I will break you in the blink of an eye. Like, I don't really care what you got to say. Like, just his whole relationship with Lois Lane, everything else, it just felt so. It's not Superman-ish. It just felt so very off. It's like, yeah, he cares about Lois, and everybody else was like, I really can just smash your face and throw it away, and I don't care.
Right.
Like
one thing I will give him credit for on Harvey Cavill DCU, Man of Steel. I think that movie was a good backstory.
Yeah,
very good backstory on it.
Absolutely.
It got in details and it got in more. The Superman, the original, it had a story, a background story, but not as detailed as Man of Steel. Man of Steel got really deep into it.
100%.
Yeah, because my main thing was this. Like, my main thing with Henry Cavill was this, right? I would have probably loved him more if they got to a certain evolution of Superman, like he donned the black and silver suit. Because at that point, that type of Superman, he's off, like he's like disconnected continuously, or he became a more darker version. Like, then after that, from that part, I'm riding with Henry Cavill as being Superman at that point.
The only reason
he was in the black movie in the I guess the Justice League, the director's cut.
But that was that. I think that was a Vision alternate world. Yeah, that's when they did.
No. In the final fight, I thought they had him in the all black and silver suit in that movie. That's probably me. I probably didn't see that part because
I don't remember that, to be honest.
When he came back, I think when he came back, I think they he was in that uniform. He was.
But I think he had a cape, did he not? Because the one I'm talking about doesn't wear his cape at all.
Right.
No, okay, I see where you guys are confused. Okay, so you're talking about the Dark Superman, when a different alternate universe, when he controls everything, the black suit, no cape. You're talking about, right, Wally?
Well, I don't know about controlling anything, but I know that he dons the black and silver suit, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was because of a loss of neither. I think that was because of Lois or something like that, or just at a certain point of his evolution. Like, if he would have done that at that point, that type of Superman, he was more disconnected, like completely. And at that point, I'd have been like, Henry Cavill, you sold it for me then. But it's just like
you're talking about, if I remember correctly, like if Eric's in the chat, he correct me. It was they did actually the New Adventures of Superman, the anime series on WB. They did a clip on that. He was no cape, all black, and he was in charge. So the president had to answer.
No. He wasn't a dictator. No, this version was not. I'm not talking about being a dictator. No.
Okay, so you're talking about a different version than I'm thinking of.
Yeah. But as far as, like I said, from the physicality part, Henry Cavill paid it right. My thing is, as far as just playing Superman, though, as far as what you know him to be, I mean, at this point, I know a lot of people don't like the dude because of all the other implications and everything, but honestly, I think David Cornsweet is pretty much the closest thing to this date, to this generation, that played a closer Superman that you've seen in all the Superman animated series to now. So as far as a movie wise, he's playing that close for me.
Yeah, I'll probably I don't know if I'd say disagree, but I think out of those actors, I think Corn Sweat is the weakest of the Superman. And again, not necessarily his fault. Again, it's the direction that they're going in. Now, this is my biggest complaint about all superhero movies as of late. The idea of the original Superman, even if you even go back to Jor-El's speech, the idea was it was to inspire humanity to get to where he is.
Well, yeah.
Whereas in this Superman movie, in fact, he even makes a point at the end, for him, it was all about trying to prove how human he was. I'm just as human as you guys are. And I think for a lot of superhero movies, it's not so much superheroes doing superhero stuff. It's like you got to see they got vulnerabilities. Thor's got mental problems, right? Or someone has a drinking problem or something like that. It's not portraying that image of strength. And certainly in the last Superman movie, he got beat up all the time. I mean, the clone Superman, his fighting style was so predictable. That's why Lex Luthor was able to call out his moves. Move 31, move 30, because he knew exactly. Because again, he never knew how to fight.
Well, yeah, because that version of Superman was a brawler.
Correct. And so again, he was weak.
You're saying that version,
I think, in that role, in that not only was he was an advanced fighter, he was very predictable. And again, the whole part and the scene where he has the interview with Lois Lane and he basically throws a tantrum. Or they were going to kill people. I mean, it was just like he was just very almost immature in terms of, the questions that she was asking. And he was the one who said, let's do the interview. And as soon as the questions got heated, he threw a tantrum. So I didn't think he wasn't a strong version of the character, not as Clark Kent or as Superman in terms of the physicality. Yes, he was able to move things, strength wise, but in a fight, he wasn't very effective. And just at the end, he was basically saying, it's about showing Superman's humanity versus him being Superman, like where humanity tries to get to where he is. So so to me, that's why I felt he was the weakest version of the character. Christopher Reeve never lowered himself. Well, I think to that degree, at least from what I recall.
So let me give you a counter claim for that one, right? Mm-hmm. For me, right? I would now, granted, overall, I would agree to your statement, but I will sit here and say this: in any iterations of Superman where we ever see him ever had a time where he had an interview and he just talked as if he had it all figured out. No, this version showed it, and it showed clearly. But let's be honest, even in the animated series, you really never seen Superman took an interview where it's like
Superman, the movie, the before the big first fight scene, that was the interview. Him and Lois Lane.
No. I know you're talking about. But what I'm saying is this. I'm saying if you look at any other interactions, think about Superman, any other interactions, and how he would be in a type of scenery of that nature when people are questioning him. He never really has that all figured out or knows what to say. He's never really in a place of that. So the fact that they showed it like that, it just goes to show you think you know what's going on because you see it from your side and you know what you're making your calls on, but you do not know what it really means to be questioned about anything because you do not think about it. You're Superman. How the hell do you think you're going to question me when I'm doing the work?
Mm-hmm.
So of course,
that's a very good point there.
It bleeds that curiosity of just shooting the shot.
It is, but I'm saying, that's the direction of the film. The Superman of Christopher Reeve's era was kind of like be above reproach.
No, I understand.
Even with Man of Steel and beyond with the 2025, again, people question, but I think that reflects where we are as society today. Like back in the day, like we wanted growing up in my time. Yes, correct. Yes, I'm the oldest guy here. I acknowledge that. In my time, we wanted heroes. Like, we were naive like that. We didn't question anything. I mean, Superman would save a cat out of a tree as well as save a jet before it lands. That's what we wanted. Now, I think everybody's cynical today with everything. It doesn't matter how you can Google Mother Teresa and you'll have half the website saying, oh, she was an evil person, and the other side have talk about how great she was. I'm just saying that's where we are just as people today. We are so cynical about anybody or anything. Even when you do good, people will question your motives to say, well, why is he doing that? Why is she doing that?
Oh, yeah,
there must be a motive.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's a difference. And I'm saying I've grown up in all those eras where superheroes were, again, the good guys.
No,
it's the same thing with wrestling, right? We had
I'll even go to this point. But let me do a pivot counter plan.
Mm-hmm.
Batman can look at the world and say, I look at all these areas and I say, you're doing it wrong. This is corruptness. And he takes it into his hand and say, I'm going to be the actual global police that you never could be.
Mm-hmm.
And he does the detective work.
Mm-hmm.
And he does it to the ironclad truth of it all in every which way, shape, and form.
Right.
Other than simply taking life and all the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, notice one thing. What is the one small difference about Batman and then the cops? He gets there way more faster than they do ever when it comes to crime, which, again, a little bit faster than usual, all that box candy, all that stuff. But what I'm going to say this. What is the one difference between Batman when it comes to doing interview or, if anything, when it comes to Superman? One thing is Superman is human, but Superman was
Batman is human.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Batman was human, but he was more of a superhero than Superman was. But the thing is this, that's the difference between understanding you know what you know. It don't matter. Like, you're not going to shake me from my position. I don't care how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to shake me from my position. That's the thing with Superman. Superman is so easily shaken because he was born as a human. He wasn't born as a Kryptonian. He wasn't, let me rephrase that. He was born as a Kryptonian. He wasn't raised as a Kryptonian.
Right.
Think about it. Supergirl. When Supergirl came into the scene, that you wasn't questioning Supergirl, and Supergirl wasn't really questioning you. Like, she will just put it down, everything else. Supergirl versus Superman, we all know who had the real fighting skills between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Why? And because Supergirl was raised and trained amongst the Kryptonians. Superman never had that chance. But my thing is going back to the same thing. So that's what I'm saying. You got a person that is a superhuman level person beyond imaginary dreams, can see things beyond your imaginary world. But he is so leveled as a human, even though he's beyond that. Then you got an actual human, but that supersedes him in his prowess and looks at the world and say, you do not know what you think you know, let alone even gravitate how the world goes. But that's my difference. It just goes to show you it's apples to oranges. Like, again, that's what I'm saying with Superman. We never really see him in those positions to ever really be questioned. It is, he does the great job. He does the great. Thank you, Superman. You did so well. Everything else. Same thing. I'll even flip it again. Right? Let's take Batman out of it. Spider-Man does great, does well. He doesn't do no crime, doesn't do nothing. He saves people, everything else. But they put it on the newspaper. Oh, he's a vigilante. He's this. Why he be masked? But it's like, would you think you would want to be a hero and be known when you go against these people and they come after your family? Have you ever thought about that for a moment? But again, of course they put it out there. But again, even he doesn't really sit there to really have the interviews and all that. He gets it, goes, and get the freak out of there. My thing is, in that moment, we all think we're ready in that position. We all think we should be ready for that position to take care and not feel anything bad about it, because at the end of the day, I have to make the call. You don't. You don't have to make this tough call. I do. I'm the one there. You're not there. You don't know. You don't see nothing. You do not understand the calls. And I'm not going to record it just to make you feel better. I make the call.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. It's in my authority because I'm handling the situation.
Right.
That's the whole point. And that's what I'm saying. With Superman, in that moment, it's more realistic than it is more fraudulent. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I get it.
I never called it fraudulent.
No. What I'm saying is this, right? To say, like, when I'm saying fraudulent, I'm saying like in a sense, like to say he's weaker because of that moment would be an actual bad way to looking at it. Because again, all the other Supermans, could they have lived up and did the same moment and did that? Because then what I'm saying is this. It goes to show you, that's what I'm saying. David Cornsweet's Superman was a little bit more realistic because, again, it still presents to the idea of him fluctuating between Clark Kent and Superman versus just being Superman.
Okay, but look at the other aspects I said. Okay, so let's say you made your point very well, especially the interview. The fighting itself.
No, and again, the fighting part, I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying from the standpoint of just the interview part.
I got you. Okay, we're good. All right. Yeah. I think Craig wants to go, and then I can come back.
Yeah, which Superwoman are you on about? The one from 1984 or the new one?
I'm sorry, which one?
I was asking which one he was on about. Which Superwoman?
You mean what Superman I was talking about?
No, Superwoman.
Oh.
Oh, Supergirl.
There's one that goes all the way back.
Oh, no. Well, regardless, almost any Supergirl you think about in any iteration, she's the rich. She always came from Krypton. I think in most cases.
Not from the 1984. They lived in a bubble.
Okay, well, I did not know that one.
Yeah, that's way back. They changed the character a long time ago with that.
Well, yeah, no, because I know there's multiple different comics, but I'm saying for the most usual ones, she lived in Krypton. She was older than Kala was in most cases, and that's the one I'm focused on.
About the newer ones.
Yeah, the more that because I'm on the other side of the spectrum.
You were on about the newer ones or the original one, the Supergirl standalone without Superman.
Yeah. So. That's
Paul might know what I'm on about.
All right, Paul. You said you had one more thing to say before we change gears.
I think I just. Oh, the only thing, just following up on the Batman. Like I said, it depends on the world what Batman you're talking about, because the 1966 Batman was a very public figure. Like the other Batmans that we've seen, he's kind of in the shadows. He's kind of a rogue. Even how he's looked at by the police and the society and whatnot, he's like this vigilante guy.
Right.
In the 66 Batman, which most Gen Xers grew up on. If you're Gen X, the first Batman you saw was the 66 to 68 Batman. And that was the holy smokes Batman, all that Robin and all the campy stuff. So he was public. Like everybody knew in the movie, Batman movie of 66, when they flew by in their helicopter, the policemen just stand and saluted him, because they recognize who it is. So again, a very different take. He worked in the system, not against the system or contrary to it. Right. So again, that version does not fit the mold of what you're saying, but it's still a very popular version of the character that, campiness or not, people embraced, and that's how we all kind of got into Batman, by watching that show. If not live, I was born after that, but in syndication every afternoon it was on, and you tuned in to watch it.
Right. No, yeah.
That's all. Pete, you can go ahead.
All right, so I want to switch gears a little bit. I want to switch to a different universe, Marvel, for example. Let's start with the Hulk first. That's the Hulk has been a disaster since they launched that damn thing, the character, because you have the original Hulk, Incredible Hulk, that was a disaster. Now we got the current Hulk that is staying for a while. So here's my opinion on the first Hulk. Decent movie, wasn't the greatest, too greenish, too cartoonish in my opinion for the transformation. But the actor did a good job, I think, overall for at the time. The second one, disaster. The biggest reason I think was disaster because the actor had creative control, meaning he was changing things on the fly, saying, "Hey, we're not doing this, we're doing this." Now they were fighting back, like, "Yo, this is a script." Like they go, "I don't care what a script. I have creative control." Hang on,
which is why he was not brought back. He was a problem.
Hey, bingo. So then this new one, he just wants an act. That's all he wants. He doesn't want creative control. He doesn't want any issues. He just comes in, does the job, and go home. And that's why he thinks he's so good. Go ahead, Greg. What are you going to say?
The original Hulk that I like was the one who played with Thor. The guy who could call Thor. Thor's dead, yeah? But the guy
that's what I'm talking about. He's a good one.
Yeah, that's what I'm on about. He played Thor. The Incredible... Is that the Incredible Hulk?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one I remember. The one where he plays with Thor. I loved that.
Yeah. Although I must, and again, I know I'm not going to violate the rules. All right. I know we're only dealing with movie stuff.
But you can mention if you want.
To this day, the best Banner is David Banner from the Incredible Hulk TV show.
I knew he was going there,
That-
guys. I knew
But
it.
again,
I
that
thought David Banner was a movie.
no, is well,
I'm
they
thinking
didn't
of
make
the wrong
they did they in the TV series. His middle name was Bruce because they didn't want it to be too because back then the names were like like double like Bruce Banner. They didn't want that, so they named it. It was David Bruce Banner.
And it was copyright stuff too on top of that.
Yeah. But I mean, just you want to talk about acting. Someone who showed intelligence but vulnerability and weakness, because that's the thing. I mean, David Banner is supposed to be a sort of a weakish kind of guy, physically and everything else. And I thought that the Hulk 2000, I thought the guy Eric Bana, I thought he was too big. I thought he was too tall. I thought he was too, if you look at him versus the cast, he was as big as everybody else in the cast. I thought Banner always worked when he was like this sort of weakling bully type of guy who then transforms into this Hulk character. So I didn't necessarily like Eric Bana in the original Hulk 2003. But if you want to talk about acting, if you want to talk about vulnerability, if you want to talk about somebody who every week had you engaged, even though they didn't go over the top with special effects and all that stuff, on a weekly basis, the original Incredible Hulk TV show was, I mean, as good as it gets if you want that kind of action. Could they have souped up the special effects a little bit more? Yeah. But I mean, as far as a Banner, that's still the best movie or TV show in my opinion.
Okay. Anybody else goes before we go into our debate?
Okay, so how do I want to see this? So I think with Hulk, yeah, I like more so Mark Rubio's, because of course Mark Rubio's is getting to the
Ruffalo.
Ruffalo. His is getting to the Smart Hulk version, which I think it did at Endgames, which he has.
It did.
Full morphing control of Hulk. I did love the Incredible Hulk. The only crappy problem was, of course, like you said earlier, the actor having creative control and changing on the fly. But I mean, the ending, because I remember the ending when he just automatically was able to control the like his switch. That was I was a little bit more happy for. But then, like I said, he allowed himself to create it to make it dog shit, which is just sad. Because his Hulk was more brutal, in my opinion.
All right.
But
David, you got
overall,
anything?
yeah, Mark was pretty bad.
David?
He hit the snooze button on himself.
No, man.
Yeah.
It's been a long day, ladies and gentlemen. This is what happens. This what happens when stress hits you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Paul, you got anything?
Well, as far as for the Hulk topic, I would definitely say that I think I certainly prefer the Mark Ruffalo outside of Bill Bixby playing Banner in the TV series. Mark Ruffalo, I think he nailed it. I think it's the most realistic Hulk in terms of, because I agree with you. The first one, they said it looked like Shrek. I mean, it was too bright. He was too, but the other one, yes, he was like ripped, but it didn't look real. That didn't look very realistic as far as portrayal. So I think the MCU got it kind of right in terms of his portrayal. Had the brawn, but also, they got that right where you kind of believed it more. Now, again, they downgraded when they had She-Hulk, the She-Hulk series. Again, they didn't invest as much into the graphics, and it showed up in both in the She-Hulk as well as the Hulk in that series. But I think certainly, especially his initial appearance in the Avengers, I think they nailed it at that point.
Yeah.
So I agree with all you guys saying. I'm sorry. Greg, you got anything on this before we move on?
Nothing he already said his favorite.
I'm sorry.
I'm saying I thought Craig already mentioned his favorite.
So again, I'm going to stick to what I originally said. But let's switch to another character, Marvel again, Daredevil. So
two actors.
Correct. When it first came out, Ben Affleck, I thought it was a decent role, but now I look back, he did okay. He didn't do great. But this new actor, what's his name? I had right here, Charlie Con. That's a weird last. No, I had a weird last name. No offense, dude, but I think he does a better Daredevil than Ben Affleck. Far-fetched, but I like what they did when it first came out. It wasn't a bad movie. I still think it's a good movie, but not too. I think when he comes out with his own Daredevil movie, I think this guy's gonna kill it. Personally, that's my personal opinion. Who wants to go
Didn't
first?
you make a TV series?
Yes, on Netflix.
I've not, I must admit, I've not seen the series, but I believe I've seen him in She-Hulk.
So he actually did a guest, not a guest, like a cameo in Spider-Man. I can't remember which one it's called. Far From Home, I think it is. I can't remember which one it was. I'm gonna look it up right now for you guys. Spider-Man. Where is it?
Charlie Cox. But yeah, but his was a Netflix series, not a movie series.
Correct, but he did a scene in Spider-Man.
Yeah, he did a scene in Spider-Man. I don't think so. He was dressed up though, was he? Yeah, I don't think so. He was dressed up. He was in his normal, regular human form, but he wasn't in his Daredevil.
He only did the. Oh man, what is it?
But it says like no, I got it right here. It says the performance. He appeared as Peter Parker's lawyer. You're right. So he only appeared as the lawyer,
Yes.
but he didn't appear as the actual physical Daredevil in the
No,
movie.
he didn't.
Correct.
But if you have a look at it very carefully, right, when there was a brick thrown through Peter Parker's window, he caught it in midair.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
Sorry,
But yeah,
I-
honestly,
Matt Murdock. Man,
Matt Murdock.
Thank you.
I
I can pronounce last names
I
today.
do prefer the original one, though. I do prefer the original one.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah. The original
Why?
Daredevil.
I mean, he's the only Daredevil, the actual movie Daredevil.
No. It's compared to what I've seen on the through She-Hulk, the TV series. If you know what I mean. He's not.
We're not talking about series today. Remember that only movies.
No, I know. But
That's
I'm
what I'm
talking
saying.
about the way he was
There's only
acting
one
there.
person that ever did the
Hold on.
movie.
Hang on, right? It was the way he was acting. He didn't really act like Daredevil, like the original movie. He didn't act like the Daredevil himself. Yeah?
Wait, who are
Right.
you talking about?
You got Ben Affleck in the original movie of Daredevil, right? And then you've got She-Hulk, where you've got the new Daredevil, the new bloke.
That's in a TV series.
Right. I don't know his bloody name, but anyway, he didn't act the same way as the movie. Yeah, the way it was, even though it was animated in the She-Hulk. Get what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I preferred the original movie because it had a full storyline of him.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we're talking about Daredevil, I mean, you really can't really speak about Daredevil because there is no other person that ever played Daredevil in movies.
I know.
Only
Did anyone else ever play Elektra?
No.
I like Elektra.
No. It
No,
only did
yeah.
the main
They did.
Elektra.
They did a spur off from that movie, Daredevil, with that. That was a brilliant movie, Elektra.
Well, it was a decent movie, yeah. But I think that when they're gonna reboot it, I think it's gonna be better because the way MCUs are going now, they're a lot better. But let's talk about Spider-Man for a second here. So far we have.
Hang on, can we?
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
want to kind of break it a little bit because I know we're doing a lot with the superheroes and whatnot.
Which are the easiest ones.
Yes, I want to kind of pivot a little bit. Peace out, Eric. Especially with Craig being here, since this might be more in his wheelhouse. Why don't we talk about James Bond?
Ooh, I totally forgot about him.
And so,
The best
you
actor
know,
for James Bond was the Scottish fart, Sean Connery. Best actor ever.
yeah. So that's the question too. Like, who played Bond better? Now, I'm Sean, obviously. You know, so I give a lot of credit
was
to,
more-
but I love Daniel
There was
Craig.
that one he played in what was it? What was that? It was a singing movie with all the girls and big old teacher. He also played in what was the other one? People go into a closet and you've got creatures and stuff like that that talk to you and that.
I'm not sure who you're referring to.
Narnia. He played in the movie Narnia.
I didn't see
That's
that.
the line. No, it wasn't. No, it was in the Mickey take of it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But you're just off the rip since you are British and what, and I know James Bond is
I
very
personally
Indian.
think out of all of the James Bond actors, Sean Connery was the best one because there was multiple movies with him in it.
Well, they all had the only one who didn't have multiple movies was George Lazenby on Her Majesty's Secret Service, which I do like. I think
he only had 1 year.
I think it's the most underrated Bond film. I enjoy it quite a bit. I watch it every time I can.
Yeah, the only reason I like
I'm also
Sean
a fan up
Connery-
until the last movie. I'm a big fan of Daniel Craig. I got to be honest.
Yeah, Daniel Craig is for that. That's gonna be my pick, honestly.
The only reason I like
He's on
Sean
my list
Connery.
too. I'm not gonna deny that. But my again, I'm gonna be a little biased here because this is the Bond that got me into the series hard. I always like Bond, but this is the actor that got me really into the Bond series. Is Pierce Brosnan, the Irish guy?
Pierce Brosnan.
Yes, he's the one that got me hooked on the Bond. Because when I was watching, I was a young kid and I really didn't understand as much because my dad made me watch him because he liked the Bond so much. Because that was the first modern Bond that we saw at the time, for my generation. So he got me hooked on the Bond series. He's the one who got me. Okay, now I'm a Bond fan because of him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I think out the box, he might be, especially for that generation, like the 90s. And mind you, he could have been the 80s. In fact, they were trying to get him instead of the guy who did License to Kill, and I forget the other. He was on for 2 Bond movies. I forget the name of the actor.
There was 3 of them, but yeah, I know the one you're on about.
Yeah. But they were trying to get him for those films, but he was already locked into an American franchise. It was called Remington Steele. So but he played essentially a Bond character on TV. But he was into that contract, so they couldn't get him out. So they couldn't get him until GoldenEye 1995 when he was kind of clear of everything at that point. So that
I know the one you're on about.
Yeah,
that was the actor I was on about another movie.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing, but he could have came in and did I think a good job with that. But I think, now again, I grew up in the Roger Moore era. Those are ones I remember seeing. Now again, Roger Moore is to me the equivalent of Adam West when it comes to James Bond, kind of on the campy side and whatnot. But again, it was cool. He was like the Bond who could kind of do no wrong. He was. Everything he did, even if it was an accident, it worked, and so I think, as campy as some of those Bonds were, I think he played in this. I know, Craig, you too young to remember, but there was a very popular series in the UK called The Saint. He was also played a secret agent in that British production as well. He could have been cast as an early Bond, but again, at the time, Sean Connery, he was up until 71, he was Bond, with the exception of that George Lazenby that came out. But yeah, I certainly agree that Connery might be the closest to the book. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like,
what I think is funny about these actors, guys. To be honest with you, because technically this is supposed to be playing a British spy, M9, is it whatever it's called?
MI6 or MI5.
MI6. Okay, I'm thinking MI6.
MI5.
So there's only one British actor that actually played the British guy. Everybody else has been English, Irish, and everything else but British. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yeah. I think that did come out sometime. Well, again, but is Bond by the book? Is he British? I thought he was like Scottish or something like that. Like I don't know if he was meant to be.
That's what I was on about. He was meant to be from London, but they played multiple different actors as Sean Connery, but he played as himself, like he did in Highlander. Yeah, he played as himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't change his voice. He didn't put anything on. But he, as I said, he was the best actor out of the flaming lot of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Like I said, Craig.
He's not around no more. He
Yeah.
died several years back, but
Right.
as I said, he was an absolute legend. He really was. I've actually got a clip of a little bit of James Bond with him with Mummy Penny in 1964.
Yeah.
If I'm going to bring that up.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, Craig, since you are, you might be closer to this. Obviously, you know, the last movie was the first time Bond actually died off. They killed off the character. Are there any plans that you know of to again revive the series
Not at all.
or what have you, or you know, will they still reboot it, or is Bond done from what you know from your
As far as I know, there's not been any reboots or any hints of any other new movies.
right?
All I know is that other guy that was in it, the last 2 or 3 that was there.
So really fast, because I looked it up as you guys were talking.
Yeah.
Technicality, according to Google, again, this is take it with a grain of salt if you guys want to. He's taking the Scottish and Swedish Bond, so he's not British at all. You guys good with that?
Well, you got to be technical with that. He what did you just say? He is what?
Scottish and Swedish. This thing.
Okay, so but what did you say after that?
Technicality.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
No,
it says,
that he's not from the UK. Technically, he is because
Yeah,
not
I'm not
England.
saying I'm not arguing that. I
Yeah.
meant British. I meant to say. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that.
But when you say now, Craig, when you say British, all right, educate us. Does that mean UK or does that mean you're from England
UK,
or the British Isles? Because those are three
UK
separate.
means United Kingdom.
What's that? Yeah. So when you say
UK.
British, what are you saying?
But from London downwards, I believe it's British. Yeah? Because you've got Ireland, you've got another part. Sorry, you've got your Ireland, you've got Scotland, you've got Wales. There's another place as well, but I can't remember what it is. But the main part is the middle bit where London is. Yeah? I've got a map to show you, but yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, just in common parlance, when someone says they are British, are they saying that they're only from England, or can British mean the UK, Scotland, and Wales? Can they also refer to themselves that they're British also?
I actually don't know, to be honest. I actually don't know. But from what I was told, if you're born in Britain, you're classed as British. Yeah?
But
Yeah,
Britain is England, Scotland, and Wales.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
That's what we're trying to clear up, Greg.
Kingdom.
Yeah,
Pardon?
that's what we're trying to clear up. Like if you let's say a example, if you are Irish, is that part of UK under the British, or is it different?
Only
It's
part
not
of it.
part of you. I don't think it's part
Only
of you.
part of it.
It was at
Only
one
part
time,
of
not
it.
anymore.
Ireland, you got the top end of Ireland, and then you got the
Northern
bottom end.
Ireland, right.
It's basically split down the middle. It's the same as Scotland, right? Back in 2015, around about that,
Mhm.
Scottish decided to be their own type of country.
So Scotland is no longer part of the UK?
It's part of the UK, but they wanted their own border to go straight across, sort of thing.
Mm.
But there's no
Here's
border.
a
There.
question with David
It's an
now.
invisible one. If that
David,
makes
you awake?
sense.
Wasn't Africa, where you're from originally, part of the UK at one time?
No. That's. I mean, you certainly have some states that were British. Like Africa was basically split up, right? You had French states, you had British states, you had Portugal. Everybody kind of had a piece, and then in the '60s, everyone kind of got.
That's where the Dutch.
Dutch, yeah.
I do apologize for that question, guys, but I didn't know. That's why I was asking.
No apologies
Yeah,
for
yeah.
asking.
Hey,
The only country that was under the British was Nigeria, that I know of.
Peter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So technically, I'm not wrong, but I'm not right either. Okay. Got it.
I was trying to point it out on the map, but
All right. So, okay, we got James Bonds. So we're all in agreement on that so far?
As it was a lot more than that, David. Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, South Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Sierra Leone, Gambia, and Sudan. They were all British territories.
Okay.
It just.
I
Go
thought
ahead.
Ghana was on
Go
the
ahead.
French.
Nah.
Oh.
So anyway, okay, let's swing back to the Spider-Man thing really fast. So we have 3 different Spider-Mans. Technically, there are 4. It was one in the Japan. Japanese did a Spider-Man movie that was horrible. We don't count that.
It was it was a TV show. It was a
I thought it was a movie.
No, it was a TV show. It was yeah. It was
They
a
did the
basically
cartoon
a
before they did the
it was a
movie.
Sentai series, very similar to all the other ones, where he had a robot car and he had a robot that transformed into a robot thing and beat the bad guy at the end or whatever. It's like same kind of formula as the other ones.
I didn't know that.
What they tried to do, Peter, is if I remember rightly, in the original Spider-Man cartoon, they had all of the Spider-Mans all in one. So they split it up into 3 different types of movies out of that one cartoon. If I remember rightly, if I'm correct or not. Paul,
Okay.
correct me. David, Wally, correct me, please. But if I'm wrong, because you had the 3 different stages of Spider-Man, where you got the nano suit, that sort of thing, and then you got Spider-Man.
Yeah, in the animated series, yeah.
Yeah, the Ultimate Spider-Man
The
Ultimate.
original one. The comic book version.
But
Yeah,
let's get back on the
that'd be
track
nice.
with the actors. So we have 3 main actors that I know of and that I found. It was Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland.
Yes.
I personally think Andrew Garfield was the best one. Personally, I think he played a really good Peter Parker, a modern version of Peter Parker, and he did a great job as Spider-Man. Toby did a good job for what it was at the time, but he played him like he didn't have a cell phone and he didn't have like a very like his computer was like something that you need a choker and pull back. It was like outdated tech he had. For somebody who was so techy, he didn't have the tech. Tommy, Tom,
He wasn't techie. He was just a science nerd.
Okay, I'll give you that. Tom Holland,
Or
he's
I
not a
should
best
say a
Spider-Man.
scientist.
I'm sorry.
I should say scientist. Let me reclaim that.
Yeah,
Scientist.
but he relies too much with Tony Stark's gear. So again, that's why I gravitate more to Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. I think that was the best, and I'm kind of disappointed they didn't do a 3rd one. Honestly, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah, you gotta look at ratings for that one for the reasons why that fall out. But even though, because technically they did prelude towards the end that he was supposed to have another movie, but yeah. But as far as for my best Spider-Man, honestly, I say it like this, right? Andrew Garfield was the clear depiction of Spider-Man. But as far as best played, I put that on Toby.
Why so?
Best played. Again, you got to think about it as various. You're asking about the actor. Again, imagery, comic book entry standard. Again, I give that to Andrew Garfield for sure. His relationship with Gwen, because technically his relationship with Gwen is the Pierce version of Spider-Man. It really is. But to Tobey Maguire's version, actually, I just appreciate way more. As far as if we're talking about just who played the better role. Who played the better role, I put that on
Tom Holland.
No. I like Tom Holland, but no. He hasn't done it in that epic scenery for me yet.
I thought they didn't do the 3rd Amazing Spider-Man because they were already working on a deal with Marvel to use the Spider-Man in that universe.
Well, you got to think about it. Technically, Sony owned Marvel. Sony owned Spider-Man, so technically, that wasn't the reason. It was, you got to look it up, but more so it was ratings and all that other stuff. People wasn't liking it, and I ain't gonna lie. For me personally, killing off Gwen was a bad move. Honestly, I get
agree
it.
on that.
It was one of those thought process, but it was a bad move. Even the horrible Joker, like people want to talk about the Green Goblin. People want to talk about the Green Goblin being that bad amongst Tobey Maguire because the suit. You look what you had with freaking Andrew Garfield's Joker. I mean, Green Goblin. I'm already zoning out already, but yeah. But just look at it. You're trying to tell me, like, you pick which one's better. Like, come on. Tobey Maguire's Goblin way more better. Way more better. I don't care how you feel about the suit. Way more better.
Oh, acting wise, yes, I'll give you that. he did a lot better job, in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man versus Andrew Garfield's, because they actually even called it the Green Goblin. They called it the New Goblin. They called it in the movie. So
Yeah, I think because
in the second Spider-Man set,
did he even face the original Goblin, which just was his father? I don't think so. I don't
no,
think he got to that. That's what I'm saying. The fact that they call it New Goblin, I don't know how they call it New Goblin. When
no, they didn't. They just kept his face.
Right. So yeah, it was just stupid. But
It's just really, really, really badly decorated, sort of thing.
exactly.
It was really,
But yeah, but honestly, again, when we're talking about just like the full-on character from start to finish, for me, again, you talk about the Uncle Ben story. You talk about just every build-up from start 1, 2, 3. Tobey Maguire sold it hands down across the board. We had there was early talks about trilogies on this channel, and who had like a great trilogy. Again, people can say what they feel about Superman 3 because the whole Venom visuals and everything
Spider-Man 3.
else. Yeah, Spider-Man 3. Yeah, you know, I'm already far gone. I'm already like losing it. So
I still prefer the first one.
but the thing is like start from finish. Spider-Man 1, 2, 3. It was just you just have to like it across the board because again, you're seeing Peter Parker / Spider-Man develop piece by piece by piece, and then get intricate moments of each part of the piece. So, and especially even to the dilution of the relationship between him and Mary Jane, because again, that version of Spider-Man where him and Mary Jane are a relationship. I said Spider-Man. Yeah. Okay, I thought I said Superman for a moment. Goddamn. But with their relationship, it is dysfunctional. And you get to see that dysfunctional play out. Because again, as Spider-Man, Peter Parker becoming to be more confident, more courageous, telling his stories about how he's being successful, but then here's Mary Jane feeling down, feeling out, her life is not going well. And it's like it's causing friction.
I personally think it's something to do with the multiverse. It's something to do with the multiverse. You've got 3 different Spider-Mans. I think they were trying to copy the same thing from the cartoon. Personally.
Well, probably they were. But
yeah, because you've got Uncle Ben who dies in the very first Spider-Man, and then you've got Uncle Ben that dies in the second Spider-Man. Yeah, and then the third one, there wasn't an Uncle Ben.
No, Greg, you got it backwards. So, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, he dies in the first one. In Amazing Spider-Man, he does in the first movie also.
Right. I mean, I didn't really remember that honestly, because that's what I'm saying for Andrew.
I wasn't going backwards. I was going forward. Yeah, in the multiverse, there's different versions. Different,
right.
Uncle
Ben.
No,
there's different. There's different
multiverse.
But
in the third very first Spider-Man separate thing in different multiverse, there was no Uncle Ben. Yeah, but
that Uncle Ben was gone by that point. He was already gone by that point when he was supposed to be there.
I was trying to understand. Sorry.
Yeah. No, but yeah, he was definitely gone at that point. And plus, they killed off Auntie May at that point, which again, this is why I sit here and say personally, Tobey Maguire just the better candidate for me in my opinion. It just was because again, you get multiple different dynamics. You just do. You get Uncle Ben passing away. You get the honorable story of, with great power comes great responsibility, which you don't get that in the other versions. Just be honest. Then too, you get that moment where you get to have that chance to have that revenge when you face Sandman, only to then get clarity and then get closure. When you look at it straight across the board, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man personally, perfect project, masterpiece, straight 1 to 3, regardless how you feel about the 3 of Venom, but ultimately 1 to 3, perfect masterpiece in my opinion, straight down the line. I can't oversee it with anybody else.
Let me ask you a question, Wally. What did you think about the new Goblin in Spider-Man 3, Tobey's version?
The new Goblin in Spider-Man 3 Tobey version.
You're talking
about when okay. That was way more better done than in Andrew Garfield's version. I actually like that version. It was more clean. The only thing I will sit here because I say like this, right? Harry The one thing about Harry may be a little cynical. He may be too much of a playboy, but he was a little bit more idealistically calculated than his own father when you think about it. Because the way how he had to take heed of the serum and everything else, he wasn't as susceptible as his father was. And at the same time, which means he was able to morally handle it way more better than him in a sense. But at the same notion, he was better, more skillful in the sense of how the design, how he sort of catered things and, you know, put things together. So the way how I looked at his and then how he handled his ideal suit, even though I wish it was a little bit more full-bodied, a little bit more for protection. But yeah, just certain things that he did in comparison to his father, I think he handled it way more better, and it was way more slightly better done. I just wish it was just a little bit more added to his visual to make it more better. Because honestly, he's so easy to be seen as far as knowing who he is when the moment if you get a glance of him. So I think that, you know, the main thing about that version is it just robs him from identity because you want to hide the identity. But that's the main thing.
So you mentioned about Venom. I want to talk about that really fast. So we have 2 different actors play Venom. We had Toby's version. His name was Joe Manganiello.
Yeah.
I can't remember the.
Let's not waste time. That was he was the. I'm sorry, they shitted on him. I'm sorry, his version of Eddie Brock was just horrible.
Both versions of Eddie Brock are horrible.
They are, Pete.
You talking about the one that the other guy that plays Venom solo?
Yeah, I'm saying the guy the guy who played Bane. Who's the British actor?
Yeah. My thing is,
his is awful also.
I didn't hate his Venom though, because his Venom was sorely
no the Venom. I'm talking about Brock.
Yeah, Eddie Brock's. Yeah,
because they totally throw out a major component of what makes Venom who he is, and that is the fact that again Brock, because he got fired, he basically took all his frustrations out in the gym and he made himself into this 260-pound mass monster, which is the reason why when the symbiote merged with him, that's why he's so much bigger and stronger than Spider-Man or anybody else. They took away, they basically just, any actor, they gave him that physicality, but it was the merger of his own effort, him being in the gym, pumping up, becoming this massive guy to cope with his insecurities is a major part of who Venom is. And in both the Spider-Man 3 and in the Venom franchise, that's something that they totally go away from.
So with that said, let me hit that part right now. As far as Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man version, when Venom came with that version of Eddie Brock, I agree with you, because yes, that version of Eddie Brock was more bulkier when they first end up meeting and merging. That is technically true, at least as far as from the memorable visuals that I remember. That's technically true. Now this is for Toby's, that was more so of quote unquote bitter revenge, and they have a similar aligned hatred, which allowed them to pair bond and all that stuff.
But if you remember the comics book, Wally, that's how it was. You know, Eddie hated Peter Parker's guts. When he got the symbiote, his rage became double and triple.
Oh no, I understand that. I mean, the hatred was still there, but the difference when it came to, because again, what Mr. Bennett's talking about, I understand what he's talking about, because that's true. Because that Eddie Brock did have the physicality first before then. Because Eddie Brock, when he hated Peter Parker, because he just looks at him as a wimp and as a joke, right? But that's what also fueled that relationship, as far as, you know, him with Venom, to have that hate for Peter Parker. But the difference is in this one, because as far as the movie goes, again, I mean, the hatred is still there. It's just the actual visual look of Eddie was not there. And that is what I will agree with Mr. Bennett on, because the visual wasn't there. But I mean, as far as the actual movie of Venom.
But I'm saying, but even in Venom, that's the edge. because
Yeah.
both Spider-Man and Venom is always stronger than Spider-Man. He's got the same abilities. He's got the Spidey sense. He's got all these things. But why it's always better is because he's stronger, and the reason why he's stronger is because physically Eddie Brock is so much more stronger than Spider-Man.
Well, no, not actually, because you got to remember Eddie Brock by himself, even with Spider-Man as his same form body. Remember, he has superhuman abilities. Eddie,
I get that.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, he can actually handle Eddie if he actually moved like that. But overall, but with the proconus of Venom and the fusing in his cells and everything, yes, he definitely does tower over him and dominates Spider-Man at that point. So yeah, in that same notion, yeah, for sure. But like that's what I'm saying. Like again, that's what I'm saying. The Venom. I know a lot of people hate Spider-Man 3 because the Venom. That's the main one that they always target at the most case, which is very true. I ain't gonna knock it. But like I said, it's like that's what I'm saying. Like, and granted, but the other thing is what I'm saying is right from the other Venom movie. Like that was a solo piece. I look at that sort of differently because again, that's a solo piece away from Spider-Man himself. So as far as who looked or played the better part, I say it's the other guy that played the actual Venom movie. He looks way more better the better part because again, he does has that same instance of Eddie with that obnoxiousness and everything else, how he chooses to go by and everything. He doesn't have that much of the physical seek as you would want, but he does gives you the same atmosphere.
But where's the hate? But you don't even. How can you have a Venom movie without Peter Parker or Spider?
I understand that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, but that's what I'm saying. But for what we have, I'm just saying you have to go with them because it's the obvious choice.
I got you.
Because sadly enough, this version of Venom was just a co-star, not a component. So yeah,
the Venom version they spinned off, and I don't remember any comic books doing this. So it was supposed to be a comedy. That's why they're going off. And was it funny? It had some funny points of it. I'm not denying that. But I agree with Mr. Bennett. It was not a Spider-Man movie. It was a spin-off that did horrible.
Well, not only that, but they also the fact that they changed the origin story. If you want to do a spin-off, but as long as it's within a Spider-Man context, I'm good with that. But the origin story in Venom had no connection with Spider-Man or Peter Parker. So
that's true.
It's a totally different, it's an alternate reality.
Yeah, and correction, Amazing Spider-Man 2 did not have Venom in it. It was only 2.
They never got, of course, because they never got there.
Yeah, they were supposed to originally.
Now,
for Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying, because that was a little bit of a jump because the way how they paced the movies. This is why I'm saying I didn't love the idea of how they really did it. Because granted, there was rumors because when they took away Gwen, they were saying that they were gonna place in a Mary Jane in that one, or they were neither gonna bring in Black Cat version character.
I would have liked to see Black Cat, to be honest with you, dude.
Well, yeah, they're more talking that for
Amazing.
No. They're talking that for Tom Holland's Spider-Man right now.
Really?
Yeah, they're throwing it in there. There've been some talks. Yeah.
I wonder how they're gonna play that.
Well, because you gotta remember when they did No Way Home when he told me Peter Parker in that movie asked
Doctor Strange
to make that wish. So yeah, because of that reset,
the spell.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But
yeah.
Because of that reset, him and Mary Jane are not a thing that can easily bring in the Black Cat, thing. So it brings very much curiosity. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, it's just one of those things. But yeah, honestly, like again, do I sit here and say the Venom was again? If you're talking about Venom, of course it's just the obvious, but that's what I'm saying. It's not really much comparable, and even to the point of like it's not cohesive. Like the thing is this, right? I wasn't mad with how they did the story. My only pretty much like what you said, it just never connect the dots to coming with Spider-Man, even though technically again, Venom would have came to Peter first before going to Brock. So that was just like the only nonchalant thing, but
I think it's something to do
other
with
than that,
timeline.
I wasn't mad with it a little. I wasn't mad with it how they did it. It's just you just know it just ends up flopping because how they had to progress it.
I personally think
Because they had to
it's a good
kill off
timeline.
I
Riot.
know I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench saying this, but I'm going to. MJ in the
Moby.
No Way Home, all those movies.
Oh,
Is it Zella, whatever her name is?
yeah,
I didn't like her as MJ. I didn't think she fit the character really well.
She was an MJ.
She did.
That was an MJ. Her name was not MJ.
No, and that's the
Her
thing.
name was MJ. It really wasn't. It was something else.
Hold on. No, I'm thinking it was MJ. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
right.
credits right now, dude. I'm like, it says MJ. It says it literally says Michelle and May J. Washington or whatever her name was.
Yeah,
Michael
her,
J.
it
Washington.
was her phone name, but we all know it's MJ. No matter.
Yeah, that's her nickname.
Okay, I might be wrong then.
Yeah.
You're wrong on this one, but I didn't feel like she was anywhere, shape, or form as MJ. David, you've
She
been
was-
quiet. Time to jump in here, little dude. Really?
That's strange. David being quiet. Kind
Here's
of
the thing. I don't want to speak too much about the Spider-Man verse because I might be too ultra critical because for one, what they did was kind of how would I say this? Wally knows why I'm saying about this. The first Spider-Man were pretty good. They did a reboot, but another Spider-Man. Did another reboot, did another Spider-Man, and just to make a potato salad, they combine them all together.
I actually like the
Now-
combination, David. To be honest with you,
The combining with a lot of debate. You know what? We're gonna do it a multiverse because remember the animated version they had the Spider-Man verse, whereby there's a fourth Spider-Man, but that one have not become live action yet. The Miles Morales version of Spider-Man.
oh, that's what you talk about. Actually, there are more than 4 versions. There are about over 100 different versions of Spider-Mans.
So that's when they did that collaboration with all the Spider-Man. It's like saying we are going to a different direction now. We're doing a multiverse of Spider-Man.
Yeah, like
So to
for
speak.
example, they have a Mars that is in the same universe with Peter Parker. Then you have a punk version of him. You have a detective version of him. You have an
I ain't gonna
Indian
lie.
version of him.
If
What's
they
up?
did the 2099 version, I would change my whole answer right now. I would change my answer right now. I'm so serious.
Well, who will pull it off? Because here's my thing. When we're talking about the
Who
version
would pull it off?
of
The guy
Venom.
from Moon Knight. There you go.
When-
There's my answer.
When we talk about the version of Venom, here's my issue with Venom. When you build on the character, it had to be, and what the Venom was saying, they were both bad. In the comic book, Brock was a big brolic dude. That's number one. 2, he wasn't stronger than Peter Parker because Peter Parker only had a super strength already because of his size. The symbiote took Peter Parker's strength with it. Because remember, when the symbiote first came on Peter Parker, it went through his genetic DNA. It copied everything about Peter Parker to be a different version of Spider-Man, but that was more the Venom side of thing. And how it also had the aggression. So when Peter Parker got that thing removed, according to the comic books, according to the movie, when that put a come on Brock big side put to give it a little extra boost, even though it didn't have the super strength that Peter Parker had. But the symbiote had it already. So it
Well,
copied
yeah,
its
well-
genetic with the size. It's supposed to be that way, but for some reason, according to Mr. Bennett, I have to agree with him 1000%. It was kind of horrible.
No, I'm not like again. Don't get me
Hey,
wrong. I'm
I'll
not
look
saying
at
it was hard, but I'm saying if you had to pick between the two, if it was a must, of course.
I'll pick the first one for Spider-Man because he was the actual trying to get to Spider-Man to me.
Mm.
Because when they combine them all together, he kind of made them look bad. Like, dude,
Mm.
y'all are doing all this. I got it right here. I don't need to reload.
Well,
Like-
yeah, but that's the thing though. That's the only one thing about that, Toby. Though that version of Peter Parker, I will say he didn't really had it like that because he had a really actually had a load because that really is the original Spider-Man. He had a load. It wasn't in his genetical skin. He had a cheat code. Tobey Maguire had a cheat code.
And I get that.
But not that's what I'm saying. But like as far as acting wise, but I'm saying when you look at 1, 2, and 3, he is literally the best because again, his moments were just too superior across the board. But I do say Andrew is the more pure version.
All right, let me jump in.
And I
Let me
agree with
jump in
Molly.
here on this one.
Go ahead.
I out of the three, I think I like Toby, not to Tommy.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland's the best. Toby, again, one of the most important films. Again, that was one of those, if you want to say the 4 films, or at least the top 3 films that, again, that allowed MCU or just this whole comic book era. Superman 78, Batman 89, Spider-Man through Blade 97, I think 98, whenever Blade came out, and Spider-Man 2002. So again, without those, we wouldn't have what we have today. So again, Toby's always, what's that?
Totally agree on that.
Yeah, so Toby, so again, Toby's always going to get respect from me. I didn't like the fact that the guy was almost 30 when he played him. I mean, he's like one of those young guys. Again, Peter Parker is supposed to be either in high school or a college student, right? He's supposed to be a young guy by nature. And so why you got to cast 30, 35-year-old actors to play teenagers, I'm always going to have a problem with that.
But he never came off to me as some old dude playing Peter Parker, though. So
I know. I just know how old he is. I'm like, all these people, all these actors,
that mental right there.
All these actors out there, you mean to tell me, and I hate it when, again, all these actors want to be actors. You mean to tell me you can't find somebody who fits the mold? You can't find someone in their late teens or early 20s to play these roles as actors. I don't believe that. You got to go to a 30-year-old guy to essentially play the role. So I that always kind of needled me a little bit. But again, I thought he did a great job. Certainly in the role. I didn't like Garfield's in that I thought he was too disconnected. I mean, he was like I don't know what the medical diagnosis. I mean, he was such a loner that, didn't want to be seen. I know he was, picked on. I didn't like, Flash Thompson was supposed to be a bully. At the end of the film, he's basically hugging him.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
The whole Flash but again, and I didn't like the nerdy version of Flash Thompson in the Holland series. Like, they turned him into just a bullying nerd. But Flash Thompson was this the first film I thought Flash Thompson right. He was a football star. He was a bully. He bullied the weaker people or whatever. They got it right. But they what they did with Flash Thompson in the 2 franchises since, I didn't like that at all. But I think in terms of the innocence through which Spider-Man comes in, I think Tom Holland nailed it. When he came in Civil War, I was blown away then. I thought, yes, the perfect guy, the boobin in the suit, I thought was perfect. The only thing I will give Garfield's character was I think he's the smartest out of the 3, because again, you can tell he's genius level in terms of his inventor. He created his spider webbing, where the first one certainly didn't. That came. The fact that I thought that was probably the biggest. Now, I didn't mind it, but you totally go against the canon when you're making his web shooters natural within his body. That's a total. That's something
that was a cheat code, but
that was definitely a cheat code.
Yeah. But I'm thinking, if we're talking about like true, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you really think about all the things of Tobey Maguire, like, I understand like how you feel about sorry, not Tobey, but how you feel about Andrew. But honestly, there's a reason why I said Andrew was really the purest version of Peter Parker / Spider-Man, because again, that even goes back to his smarts. Because again, if you really think about going back to that movie and really being technical, he was really more smart than Tom Holland.
That's what I'm saying. I give him. I'm saying he is the smartest of the 3 Spider-Men. In that, again, the fact that he invented his web fluid, he figured out that formula for the doctor, the guy who played the Lizard. He had to figure things out. So clearly, he was the smartest guy. But again, him walking around the hoodie all the time, kind of emotionally kind of distraught and all those things. I just didn't think that was, because Spider-Man's always been kind of like a jovial character, at least from what I recall from the comics.
No,
and for the most part,
most
his
cases,
wit and
yeah.
everything. But
Yeah.
he was like depressed. He was just like, just so that was
Down.
so
Yeah, 'cause
unlike
this was the
Peter.
dynamic.
No, I
He's
get it. I
just
get
kind
it. I
of
get it.
happy-go-lucky kid who
Mhm.
happens to be smart and whatnot. But I just thought he was too serious. I didn't like his portrayal.
Yeah,
'Cause-
no, because again, it's the way how, like, to you, what you said in previous throughout the show, right? It's the setting of how they sell
Yeah.
the setting. Because again, the setting, what really dawned on him being that dark was because of his parents being gone, and his father, and if they know his father was this big scientist and everything else, and him being gone, and that's what happens with Gwen. Gwen helps him out of that, which is why the relationship was so important with him
Yeah.
and Gwen. But
It's
and
weird,
that's
but
what
now,
they-
don't you think that's kind of frustrating? The fact that I don't know if did they give you a satisfying answer
Mhm.
as to why his parents went away. I know they played some of it in Spider-Man.
I have to
But
rewatch
they
it.
didn't quite give you like they had to go away. He sees them leaving,
Mhm.
but we never really got down to the what happened to them. It was almost like
I'm
Tony
gonna answer
Stark
that
and
really
his
fast for you.
parents when he had to find out at the end that the Winter Soldier killed him or whatever. You never really find out what happened to his parents.
So they
Right.
floored the idea they were spies and they had to leave because they were working on a scientific spy experiment. They didn't get real details.
But
Like,
didn't the Tom Holland version of
hang
Spider-Man
on,
have to-
David. Hang on. Let me finish my statement, and you go. And then Greg goes after you. So they went not like with Ben Parker. They got into details. Like, okay, he was trying to save somebody with a gun. He gets shot in Amazing Spider-Man. Or in Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man 1, he was trying to stop a robbery. So they got in detail, not with their parents. From my understanding, they were supposed to get any more detail in the third one, but they never did. Go ahead, David.
Yeah.
You're up.
It kind
But
of feel like
let's
Yeah,
not forget. Let's not forget he would have part of the end game where he had to witness Tony Stark getting destroyed by the, you know what would you call it?
The snap.
The gauntlet. Remember when
Snap?
Tony Stark
Uh-huh.
sacrificed himself to
Yeah.
save the
Yeah, the
world?
snap. It's called a snap.
The snap. So that Tom Holland version of Spider-Man had to witness that. So I think that what made him more I can't say more depressed because he carrying a weight.
I mean, he had a
Like,
personal
I get what you're saying.
Einstein right in front of him thanks to the Green Goblin. What are you talking about?
True, that's another one too.
Okay, exactly. But my thing is this, right? Going back to what Mr. Bennett, because just give you small clarity, because I do remember in the second movie, he did find some gold coins, some special gold coins, which was able to be used in a particular old abandoned railroad underground.
An old
right?
train. It was
Yeah,
an old
train. So he was able to plug it in, and then that gave secret access to his father's secret labs and some videos, some intel. So as far as what they showed there, they did show some intels on that, and they're probably So, but yeah, they didn't really went in depth. Granted, it wasn't for that movie for them to go in depth in, but it's like again for them to go that in depth, and especially if they were to make Andrew Garfield's version go after who took him or do that. That would have to, again, his version would have to be the merger. But that's what I'm saying. Like, when you really think about a lot of these movies and how they're positioning, this is why I'm saying, like, storytelling matters. And this is where they keep throwing things like they going up, and then they just crash the freak down. Because, no. Because if you're going to do that, you may as well start merging him right where he belongs. Because, honestly, you may as well have said it should have been Andrew Garfield's version, not Tom Holland's version, being right there within that whole Avengers War game and all that stuff, because that would actually make sense.
Yeah, Greg.
Well, with all the Spider-Mans, I prefer Tom Holland. He actually did his own stunts, basically. If you ever watched the actual making of it, he did his own
screen
backflips.
test. Yeah, he knows his stuff. He's an acrobat.
He did his own backflips, even though the bilegal whatever it is, whatever the contract is, whatever to do with legal system is, they weren't physically allowed to ask him to do that. So he had to do that all by himself. Yeah.
That's the Actor Guild. I guess their union is. That's why they do that.
Okay. Yeah, they weren't allowed to ask him to do that. But yeah, he did his own.
He said one thing about that kid, bro. He cannot keep a secret for his life dependent on him.
Oh no, they all stole. Every single one of them stole props from the Flaming shows anyway.
No, I'm not talking about that. When before the movie comes out, they're doing interviews, and he always blubs that out. Like they look at,
he loves
dude, you
it.
can't say that. We're not releasing that. So
The biggest downfall about it was he turned around and said, "Oh, I wish they'd put a zipper in so I can physically take the suit off so I can go for a pee."
all right, let's start closing out, guys. So before we close out, I know we're not talking about this. I want to bring it up because I'm just a big fan of this. If you guys are looking for a good story for Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man 1 and 2 are the best games ever. They have clips for you, Paul, for example, because I know your game. You can watch the type in Marvel Spider-Man cinematic, and you can watch the whole story in literally in under 2 hours. I'm telling you, bro, you're gonna fall in love with this. Now, when it did Spider-Man Miles Morales, I wasn't a fan of that game too much. I think the story kind of dragged a little bit, but that's my personal opinion. So, Greg, you want to go first? Paul next, Wally, and David.
Honestly, splitting all the actors, the original ones were much better. Tom Holland, brilliant actor, plays in a lot of films. I can't think of anything else. Next person, sorry.
Yeah, this was a good topic. I mean, there were so many different films or franchises we could have went into. Generally speaking, I think the original is usually the best, with a few exceptions. Again, I mentioned Tom Holland Spider-Man. Again, being younger, being more youthful and whatnot. I think he embodied the spirit of Peter Parker, I think, more than Andrew, who I thought was way too serious. And again, as much as I agree with Toby, again, I just got to think, guys over 30 years old playing a teenager, I got issues with that. But that being said, I think my general philosophy is that the originals, typically, that's the one that's burned into your brain. That's the one you hold on to. Other exceptions to that, I would say, if you ever watch Scarface is actually a remake. There was a 1932 version of Scarface that was done, and the one with and the one with Al Pacino, Tony Montana, that was a totally different retell of the story. No one's breaking that. Like, that's one of those movies where it's like, because I know there was some talk on the table that they may want to do another Scarface movie. I'm like, there's just certain movies, just like The Godfather. You don't have to make
I'm sorry, that's too much of a classic. Sorry about that.
You know, and but still, Scarface, 1982, 1983. You can't redo Tony Montana or any other iteration of it, because back then in the 32 version, that was basically Italian mobsters. Here, he was like a Cuban exile, and wherever you want to try to take it in the future, if you want to try to make it another film, but it's based on Scarface, you can't really do that either. So my general, but that movie really stands out to me in terms of, when you try to redo something and it's better than the original, that is very hard to do, especially when you've grown up with these characters and whatnot. So, but yeah, typically the original actors get it right. But as I led with, and I still believe, again, a lot of that success has to do with the direction, with the producer, and the vision of those people, what they want to do with the series, or change the world or the environment that they're in, and the reasons why they do that. Who knows, business reasons or whatever they think is maybe hip to not put them in such a dark place. But I think the Batman series, I think, really illustrates that, because even if you see between Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher, very different worlds that those guys are put in, and obviously by the time you get to Nolan, it's a different world all entirely. So again, all these things have to come together for an actor to be their best, and so that's why I'm saying, I don't want to hold the actors per se to ranking the actor without taking into account the world that was put in place for them. Was it the best environment for them? But as far as the Batman, again, Christian Bale's going to be up there as far as the Batman franchise. But again, 89 Batman, the world that they created, that Tim Burton world, I think was very close to the original, the Golden Age Batman, in that world that he grew up in. So again, that's why I was so drawn to it. But there's a lot of different franchises we go with. But this was a fun show tonight, so appreciate it. Go ahead, Wally. You got it.
I'm sorry. I'm not looking at the screen. Sorry about that. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, look, hopefully you guys enjoyed the show as always. One of the last shows of the year, as far as for Operation Hangout. But yeah, more cases than not, what I can sit here and say as far as what today's show is about. And look, one thing if there's nothing you heard so far, it's common sense, right? It's like a lot of actors definitely had good moments of playing the roles of certain characters. Others were dominant. Others is like you got to give a piece to everybody else because like their versions had moments and you gravitate to those moments, but it's like overall there's always that one particular one that you have to say, you know what, he just had it, right? So that's nothing more that you could take from the show. That's everything else of that nature. But other than that, all I can sit here and ask is, cause I'm pretty sure there's a lot more other movies we probably didn't mention that probably did more than one of these different types of versions. If we didn't mention one, please comment in the comment section that we didn't mention that had more actors. Yeah, that's what I'll say here next. And hopefully, like I said, happy early New Year's to everyone out there. And yeah, happy holidays.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very unique topic whereby we touch Robocop, we touch Superman, we touch Batman, we touch Spider-Man, which was good. We haven't even touched Hercules, which had many different actors.
You're missing one, James Bond.
We miss. Oh yeah. We did touch James Bond. We didn't touch Conan. There are a few actors in there, and did a good, not a very long list, but it's there because when you start to look in all the different roles, the different characters that not only built a franchise but built a history that hit modern culture. Superman was modern culture. Batman was modern culture. RoboCop was modern culture. Scarface, when Mr. Ben brought that one up there, that one is like to me. I thought that was the original. I didn't know there was another one before that, but that's another perfect example. I think this is where we thought. You know what? I don't know why, but I had to agree with Mr. Paul Bennett. I can't blame the actor. I gotta blame the word they put him. They would put those actors in, which means the director, the screenwriter, the one who wrote the script. What idea they had in mind to have this actor fulfill that particular part and role. That is very, very critical. Shout out to those who are no longer here with us, like Heath Ledger, one of the best Joker of all time, and no one will top him. That a lot of actors are given either a very hard task or a very great task to perform. And God forbid you had to assimilate a particular role that almost took your whole entire life, aka like the Undertaker. He never want to break character. Everybody trying to make this guy break. But that's the thing. We're not talking about wrestling right now, but I'm giving a perfect example. But this is a very unique topic that you will have to take your time and start reviewing before you criticize. Because there's some part here and there we can blame the actor, and there's some part you cannot blame the actor as well. The blame goes straight more into the director, the producer, and the scriptwriter. What would they think about the script? And shout out to Wally when it comes to the storytelling. This is why I had an issue with American movie production, whereby there's not a lot of good storytelling in a lot of these movies as of lately. So I think that is very, very critical. Other than that, this is a very good topic. I think everybody to have that conversation with themselves in their own home and look at it in detail and different angle and pick and choose who you think fit the role properly and why. Take your note. Do the same thing after this video, after this show is over. Put in your comment. Give me your own objective review about why you think this character was done best by this actor and why. Then from there, if we want to, we can go back and review it and give you if you're correct about it or you're wrong about it. Other than that, it's a very unique topic to get into, and this is Black David, aka Bear Paw, signing off.
All right,
No,
guys.
it's Baby Groot.
Thank you. What's up, Greg?
No, I turned around and said, no, it's Baby Groot.
Anyway,
Nothing big about this thing here.
so let's do a quick schedule update. Before we do that, thank you for everybody coming up. I think it was a really good conversation. Great, definitely a great topic. It gave me some ideas for shows coming up, so thank you for that. Really fast. So the next couple days, we're going to be taking a mini break because work schedule, and I don't want to burn these guys out too much. So tomorrow will be no gray area, but will be a replay. Tuesday, same thing, will be a replay. On New Year's Eve, Wednesday, we will have a special edition show of Spartan NCU Network, I guess. We're just gonna collapse and kind of like what our accomplishments of the year, because we accomplished a lot this year as a channel, as a team, and as a network. So I'm hoping my whole team is going to be there. It's going to be not 9:30. We're going to do it at 9 o'clock. Actually, it's only going to be an hour from 9 to 10. We're not going over it more than that. Just an hour. Except that we will definitely be back for Friday. You guys doing a show Friday, right, guys?
We'll be talking behind the scenes.
Okay, that's fine. But definitely next Saturday we will be coming back with Nintendo versus PlayStation, the console wars. This is gonna be an interesting one, a very interesting one. I already know Paul is gonna be on Nintendo side. That's what he grew up with. So, except that, Greg, last words before you walk the plank.
No, you before me, honey.
What the world?
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
Mr. President, any last words?
Just want to again shout out to African Americans. Happy Kwanzaa. This is day 2 of Kwanzaa Kujichagulia. Certainly shout out to the guys who celebrate that. And yeah, just wanted to give shout outs to those guys. And in addition to the Christmas and all the other holidays, happy Kwanzaa to African Americans who celebrate it.
Boxing Day for all the Canadians.
Wally, anything else on your side?
Yes. Just one small thing. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? No. I already said it. All right, no. And the
David?
Christmas carols is this?
David, wake up.
Really?
Yeah. Any
Really?
last words before we go?
That would. To all the people watching me on Facebook, YouTube, Kick, Twitch. Shout out to all my Nigerian. We don't carry last. Take it easy. I know what's going on in Nigeria. We're all going to be talking about it for the next couple of weeks or months. Keep your head up. Keep your grinding. Keep your hustle. And it's what it is, all right?
All right, guys. As always, this was the Spartan NCU Network. I am let's try this again. All right, guys. As always, it was the Spartan NCU Network. I am the Spartan. He is Greg. He is the president. Wally, Baby Groot. And make sure you make sure you hit like, subscribe. As always, where's my closing intro? There.
See you next year.
You
Next
really
year,
need to stop
Happy New Year.
doing that.
As always, guys, stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.